first ever and possibly last BMC Hunger Games. Thank you, thank you. All right, we're going to have a reaping. Aren't you all so excited? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Hunger Games! If your balloon fell off, you must exit the Hunger Games. Savannah, you're out. Straight up. Our last two. We have a winner. If our winner can come forward. Hamish. All right. Thank you. Our gaudy basket of candy is for the winning group, which you'll receive on your way out so you're not eating it during the talk. And congratulations to our winner! Hamish, do you have any... Oh my gosh. Hamish! How do you think our tributes did, Hamish?
Whatever. More next year.
Something is wrong. The world just wasn't meant to be this way. District 12 of the nation of Pan Am gathers for the annual reaping. 12 to 18-year-olds, male and female, every name in the bowl for the reaping. And one of each gender will be chosen regardless of their age, of their skill, of their size, of their strength, of their experience. And they will be drawn as tribute to participate in the Hunger Games on behalf of their district. In front of TV cameras, they will be taken from their families and placed in an arena where they will train and then participate in a ruthless test of survival.
They just want a good show. That's all they want.
Only one of 24 tributes will survive. It is a literal fight to the death. A good show? Wipeout is a good show. This is a horror show live on television. People back in their districts will watch on, rooting for their tributes, hoping that they will survive and not lose their lives in the Hunger Games. But even the winning district was likely to lose at least one of their two tributes, all in front of millions of viewers in the nation of Pan Am. There will be one victor, but in reality there is no winner in the Hunger Games. Except, of course, for the capital. They are the nation's wealthiest and most powerful people. There will be no tributes from the capital. They will be all sitting in their expensive, luxurious houses in fancy attire, stuffing their faces with gross amounts of food. They will simply sit back and watch as these children from the districts participate in a fight to the death.
You can't blame people for being wealthy.
The capital is a technologically advanced city. Everything is in order here. Everything is luxurious. While outside of the city, the 12 districts are responsible for producing goods that are printed on your sheet. Each district has a product to produce. And each district produces these products with the sole goal of feeding the capital with all that they need to maintain their lifestyle.
The world needs to be this way. We need order.
The districts supply the goods for the capital. Little of it will ever make it back to the district who've spent the energy in producing it and taking on the dangers. The districts are lorded over by the capital. As you can see in your sheets there, the capital makes the calls the shots for the districts, oppressing them, 75 years ago, the districts rebelled against the capital in a bitter civil war. There used to be a 13th district, but they were obliterated and the rebellion was crushed.
If they didn't disobey the law, the Hunger Games wouldn't have existed.
So because of this rebellion, the capital outlawed any interaction between the districts, and peacekeepers in white were employed to ensure that the districts did their job and stayed in line. The capital rules by brutal force, and the Hunger Games were created as a yearly reminder to the districts with one simple and clear message: don't mess with the capital.
Laws need to be enforced. Society needs control.
Maybe the people of the districts have simply given up hope. Maybe they've just accepted this is the way it is.
Things won't change. Things can't change.
But this can't be right. There can't be a world in which so much power lies within a small group of wealthy people who make the calls on this world and on the districts. It can't be right that someone like Katniss works and hunts for food simply so that her district can survive while people live in such luxury in the capital. It can't be right that there's such a world in which games exist where children fight to the death simply to act as a reminder to the districts of who's in charge. Something is seriously wrong. Something here is broken.
It's just the way things are.
How long, O Lord? How long? Something is wrong. The world wasn't meant to be this way. It's first century Israel, it's the time of Jesus, and the Jewish people find themselves under Roman rule, under the Roman Empire, and the Romans care about one thing and one thing only, and that is the Roman Empire. Bigger and more is better for the Romans, and they will do anything whatsoever to maintain and strengthen their empire. And like the capital in the Hunger Games, the Romans want to make sure that the people living in the Roman Empire, the Jewish people, stay in line. So they take advantage of the people through taxes, they try to conform them to their culture, and they make sure that the people living within the empire will pledge allegiance to the Caesar.
The Romans did great things for society, like roads, aqueducts, and trading.
But everything is on their terms. As long as it benefits the Roman Empire, then it's okay. Religion's okay, as long as it benefits Caesar, as long as your ultimate allegiance belongs to Caesar. So if you're in the Roman Empire and you want to be somebody, you want to have power and influence, then you better kiss up to the Romans. You pledge allegiance to Caesar and you play by their rules. You buy into the Roman structure.
Every society needs its leader.
So the Jewish people living in this society had to make a choice. Who are we going to be? Are we going to buy into the Roman structures? Are we going to be like the Romans and serve their empire and worship Caesar as God? Or are we going to be God's people and live as God has called them to live in their society, acting as God has called them to live? So make the choice. Are they going to be buy into the Roman Empire, or are they going to live differently as God has called them to?
If they didn't want to be successful, they didn't have to buy into it.
But what happened when you didn't buy into it? What happened when you messed with the Romans? What happened when you didn't pledge allegiance to Caesar? You ended up on a cross hanging along the roadside leading in to the Roman cities. Because like the Hunger Games, just like the capital, those crosses were a simple reminder to the Jewish people living in that land. Do not mess with us. Don't mess with the Romans.
Without law and order, there would be chaos.
But this cannot be right. Yes, this Roman Empire changed our world and gave us great things. But this Roman Empire is based on power and keeping people in line and threatening people with death if they do not succumb. It is about building up an empire. It is not about people. It is not about God. It is not about community. Something in this empire, just like the Hunger Games, is broken. Something is wrong here.
It's just the way things are.
How long, O Lord? How long? Something is wrong. The world just wasn't meant to be this way.
We've changed things. Things are different now.
I wonder whether our world is good or whether our world is bad. For sure, things have definitely changed and things are different, and maybe things are better, and maybe there's lots of things that we can celebrate about our world. We can celebrate that there are new cures for things, that there is new technology, that there is more knowledge in our world. But on the other hand, whenever I look at our world, I see all sorts of brokenness. I see countries at war with each other. I see countries killing each other and killing civilians in those worlds to gain power and to keep each other at bay. I see homeless people in our towns and our cities living in the streets. I see in our schools, I see bullying. I see people hurting. I see people hurting each other. I see people branding each other things and building up barriers between us. I see in the world, some of us have endless amounts of food, and yet others simply just have nothing. I see families that are hurting and falling apart. I see children that are abused or neglected by families. I see a world that values success and achievement more than it values community or family or love. I see suicide rates rising. I see people harming themselves.
Maybe you're just being negative.
Or maybe we're just too optimistic. Maybe we're comfortable with the world that we have because the world kind of works for us. Maybe we're doing okay, and as long as we can keep those bad things away from us, then our world feels like it's fine. Maybe our world can continue to be good.
We can't be responsible for everyone and everything.
We can't fix the world, and we can't be responsible for everyone and everything. We cannot fix the world's problems. But what if we saw the world differently? Not about us and how my little world is doing, but see the world as God sees it. See God looking down upon our world, on the people that God has created. I think if I were God, I'd be looking down going, what a beautiful thing with immense potential and possibility. But my heart would break because the people that I created and cared about, many of them were being neglected, many of them were being oppressed and treating each other appallingly. I think God would look down with both pride and belief in humanity, but also in bitter brokenness for who we are and what we have become. We humans have an incredible ability to build walls, to break each other down, to create hate instead of love. We have an amazing ability to do those things. I have an amazing ability to ruin good things. I have an amazing ability to ruin what God has given us. It is like that we are chained. It is like both us, me, and you are in chains. It is like our world is in chains to a disease that won't let go of us. Something is wrong.
It's just the way things are.
But I believe, like the districts of Panem and like the Jews in Jerusalem in the Roman Empire, I believe that we have a choice in the matter. That we don't have to simply accept that this is the way things are. We don't have to accept that our world is broken and simply just think, oh, we just have to make do with it. I believe that there is a different response, and it is this. It is, how long, O Lord? How long? I refuse to believe that things just are the way things are.
You're too young to understand.
I refuse to simply accept that our world is broken. Instead, I will say, how long, O Lord? How long?
What other way is there?
I refuse to believe that our chains are a necessary part of our world. I refuse to believe that wars and self-harm and suicide, I refuse to believe bullying or racism or people on our streets,
We won't be able to fix it.
that those things are a necessary part of our world. I refuse to believe that God has given up on us, or I refuse to believe that God simply wants us to just accept the way things are. I believe that there is a different way in which God has not given up on us, that God is in the process of redeeming us, and that God is in the process of removing these chains from our world, not just in the end in a place called heaven, but here on earth, that God is at something. And so instead of just saying things are the way things are and they will never change, I want us to say together the words on the screen. I want us to say, how long, O Lord, how long? So my prayer for us is that God will open our eyes to see the brokenness around us, but that God will give us the strength not to simply give up or think that this is the way the world is, but to believe that we have a God who has more for us and more for our humanity, more for our schools, more for our country and more for our world, and that God will remove these chains from us.